Hello and welcome back to the MC Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host right here is Kyle Heath. This is the show where we cover gaming industry-related news of the last week. This week, we're going to be talking about Warner Bros. A little bit of MultiVersus Studios. It's gone. Apparently, there's a Wonder Woman game that we haven't ever talked about on the show, but that's gone. Fable also delayed. Ubisoft has had to respond to a bit of a Assassin's Creed Shadows leak, so we're going to talk about that. And then a little bit about the Switch 2, the leaks, the prices, the date launch, all that kind of stuff. And oh yeah, of course, video game March releases. We got like 5 or 6 of them that we're trying to talk about this month. But before we get into it, Kyle, how you been, dude? Have you been gaming? Have you been enjoying yourself? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been enjoying myself. Gaming wise, only played one thing this week. That was
What was that?
a little bit of Avowed. A little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
And I played.
You've been waiting on that for a while, though.
Yeah. This thing, dude. I'm probably like 3-4 hours in. I mean, from what I've heard, it's not a super long game. Probably like good 20-hour if you don't do many side quests or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things. I am going to continue playing it. Making a promise to myself. I will continue playing this game. But like for me, the world and the story, it's just not hooking me yet. So I don't know if I'm like just not giving it a solid try. I don't know what it is, or if I'm just like not in the mood to play. But it's been hard for me to like get on and play and then actively be like, all right, let's do this next quest. Let's do this. I don't know, because I played for a few hours and I just like, I don't know, I got off, just kind of did some other things around the house one night. I was just like, I don't know, dude, wasn't feeling it. So not a great sign, but hey, I mean, I think
not really.
I don't know, I'll give it a little more. I think, and I was talking to, it's funny, like I started going to the office a couple days a week now, and one of my coworkers, he is a active Game Pass member. So we were talking about Avowed, because he had played it. He's been playing it too. I think he's a little bit further along than I am, and he was like, I don't know. For me, it got good. Like I would just stick to it. So, it's one of those things. After talking with him, I'm like, all right, nice little recommendation. So we'll see if that's true. But I don't know. It's been nice to go back in, and like there like not too many of my coworkers are gamers. So when I do talk to one that's a gamer, it's a nice kind of topic of communication that I frequent, so it's good to see. But yeah, dude, it's a strange one. I don't know. I'll give it a couple more hours this week at least, kind of see. But I don't just want to like throw it away. So give it a fair shot. But I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's just like I mean I'm certainly not familiar with the Pillars of Eternity universe, like it's based out of. So like lore wise, I'm not. I was pretty like it's pretty green to what this world is. I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like there wasn't too much. I feel like there's not too much that's kind of, been told at the start, so it's hard for me to get invested. And like kind of the lore they're talking about, it's kind of just like, I don't know. I can't shake it. Like the game, and I hate to say it, I feel like the game almost has like a bit of like a double A feel to like the movement and everything. Combat is good. Fun. I think just like running around and stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. There's something about the game. It just doesn't feel like triple A to me anyway. And maybe that's a bad take, but I don't know. It's not like jumping out to me and screaming. Like I look at a game like KCD2, like when I see gameplay of that or I see clips of that all over the place, every time I see clips and stuff of it, I'm just like, that looks like a AAA RPG in 2025, right? But when I see Avowed, it's just like, looks like this game, it came out a few years ago and it's just not quite there. Maybe like Obsidian, just because I know they have their hands in a lot of different stuff. They're working on releasing, Outer Worlds 2 later this year. And they had been working on like Pentiment and like I think at one point I know Avowed too. I heard some of the history of Avowed. I learned about some of the history because I'd just forgotten. Avowed at one point was supposed to be. It was originally concepted as like a multiplayer sort of like game where there's like hubs and stuff like that, and it was that at one point. So I think it makes a little more sense to me now as to why it maybe isn't as like punchy of a single player title as I was hoping for. And so just getting that context, I think added a little more, perspective for me. But yeah, man, I'm hoping. I mean, I want to at least try and finish it since it is like a shorter title in terms of an RPG. Anyway, it's a shorter title, so I did at least want to try and see it through and still give like an overall, ranking at the end. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm struggling to stay kind of, hyped about it and on it. So not a good sign.
Yeah. But I feel like your review right now is kind of similar to what I've seen online. I mean, you shared even a couple of leaks. Well, not leaks, but like early review access from journalists, and yeah, it kind of all is adding up. Where they're like, yeah, it's kind of lackluster for being a AAA,
Yeah,
which is kind of a shame because when the trailer came out, everybody was so excited about it. So to hear
yeah,
that now it's fully out, um, there's not as much interest.
yeah. I
Kind of a
mean, for
shame.
me, the average was like 7 to 8 out of 10. I think was kind of the average.
Yeah,
Like right now,
that's still
I've
pretty
it's
good.
yeah. I mean, it's still a good game. I think right now I'm leaning at 7 out of 10, just from like the first one.
Yeah.
Like this seems like a 7 out of 10 game to me, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get
So like the
wild
lower
later
end of
on.
AAA, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It makes you wonder what this game would have been like if they just kind of stuck to a single player concept fully through.
Yeah.
Because that unfortunately just wasn't the case. But I don't know. We'll see. See how it shakes out for me. But yeah,
Well, I
very
hope you
much
stick with
average.
it. Maybe there's something that like a little bit like late game stuff will come around, and then you can really
Yeah,
dive into it. That'd be cool. You know.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I did heard there's no romancing of any companions in this game. A little upset about it.
I
The
mean,
romantic in me is a little upset about
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
It's
like
like,
Baldur's Gate 3. You could do whatever you wanted.
yeah. I think Baldur's
So
Gate 3 is
now it's
romancing. Witcher is
yeah.
romancing. I don't know, man. As someone who's like, as someone who enjoys like the romance factor, I think romance in RPGs especially can be a huge motivator for a
It
lot of
needs.
people.
Yeah,
Um,
it absolutely
so
does need to be there. Yeah.
because yeah, I think it's a huge motivator and then I know for me it's like, I mean, I enjoyed the story of Witcher, like overall Witcher 3. I really enjoyed the story. I think for me, like some of that pull was like, okay, how can I see like Geralt and the other characters, like how can I see the relationships develop? Like I can kind of choose a path almost
Yeah.
between like Yennefer and all that. So it's like, and
You try to like yeah.
and just kind of seeing how that plays out was like, I looking back on it, I think it was a little bit more of a motivator than I realized at the time, because it's just like I want to see kind of how those characters were developed and end up clashing. So I don't know, it adds another layer that I think kind of can it adds some like glue to a story. I feel like, and when you don't have that, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and I don't know
from
if they
what
just
you're
didn't have
saying.
time for it, didn't want to do it. I have no idea, but yeah,
Hmm.
that's where I'm like, dude.
Well, that's
That's
kind
where
of
I'm
a
at.
bummer, man. Well, what I did this last week, I had obviously I've been just completely swamped with work, buried, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff I've been trying to do. It's like I'm trying to find a new place to rent because I move in like 2 months, um, and also in like 2.5 months, like shortly after I move, I'm still hosting the Halo 2 LAN tournament. So I've been trying to search and find like Airbnbs and Verbos and
Oh
stuff.
gosh.
Found one, signed one, so we're good to go there. It is pretty much like paid for. So that's off my plate. Now it's like, okay, well I did a tour on Monday and then I got a couple more things that I'm trying to look around and like make sure I get a proper feel for like where I want to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll be decided in like a couple of weeks. But in terms of gaming, my stress reliever has been just loading up quick play and Marvel Rifles and just running around with Thor and just trying to hit people in the face with a hammer. However, because I've been working like nutty hours, I've been basically doing like 12-hour days. Sometimes like I messaged you once or twice at like 8 o'clock, and it's like I'm still in the office, like
No.
just working.
Illegal.
But yeah, should be. But one of the things that's like I was explaining it to somebody earlier about they were asking me is like how can you watch YouTube videos when you're working? And I said a lot of my stuff, like a lot of my thought processes are like really early on in my work. So once I do the heavy duty like mind stuff and like calculations, all that kind of stuff, then I can kind of coast. And it's as if you're trying to create a sketch. So the sketch is like the hardest thing, like drawing the lines. But then once I realize and I understand the vision, the coloring in is when I can turn my brain off.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's
Makes
like
sense.
that's kind of like what I'm doing. Um, in between that, I've been watching a buttload of gaming content. Um, dude, the stuff that I've watched, there's three games. Let me make sure I get this right. I just posted them and just sent it to somebody because they watched it with me and they were like, "Yo, this is awesome," and they're like into it now too. Let's see. Come on, here it is. Here it is. All right, so I'll tell you what they are, what the names are, and then I'll explain you the overall concept. I even talked about it last episode, but you got the Isle. Then another game is Beast of Bermuda, and then the other one is Path of Titans. Now, for anybody that finds that familiar, you probably should, because the most recent one is Path of Titans, and that came out in 2020. The Isle came out in 2015, and Beast of Bermuda came out in 2018. So they've been around for a while, but I had never heard of them. They're kind of like early access alpha, not a full release. Most of them kind of in beta, but the concept is it's a survival game, and you are playing in an ancient prehistoric time where you can play as like dinosaurs. Think Velociraptors, T Rex, Stegosaurus, Pterodactyl. You can play as those, but you can also play as like in a couple of them. You can play as like a giant turtle, a like megalodon or something, like some crazy ancient creatures. Because you know how huge they got back then. So
Yeah.
the overall idea is like you have to maintain your stamina, your your food consumption, your water, and you have to just like stay safe and you have to just grow as big as you possibly can. It's like it's a survival game, it's RPG, and I've been watching a whole bunch of content on YouTube of this guy like he loads up his it helps he has an accent. He's Australian. His name's Owl Time if you want to check him out. But he loads up his concept and he's like, "We're in this world, prehistoric times. I'm a velociraptor and I'm a lone survivor." And he like starts off as like hatching from an egg, super small, to then getting full grown, finding like pack members, and then like taking over a server. It's up to like 100
Yeah.
people in some of these games. It's pretty cool,
Sounds
very
pretty cool.
entertaining. And the whole time I'm just like, man, when I get time, it's like $20. I can play the Survivor game. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. It's they have one where he was playing as a pterodactyl and he got like his growth got like 3.5 multiplier in Beast of Bermuda, which is big enough for him to like fly down and pick up an adolescent T Rex and like fly across the map and then drop them
Oh
from a
my
height. So when
god.
they hit the ground, they die. And he like starts trolling people, like picking up giant like other animals that are fighting, takes them to a secluded island on the other side of the map, and just leaves them there. It's like this guy is a bully, man.
Just
But it's
trolling
pretty
at this point.
funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But
That's good.
yeah, I'm this time next week though, I think. So yeah, next week will be the 5th. Yeah, so yeah, Thursday next week is when Split Fiction comes out. I'm 100% playing that. So
Oh yeah.
that's a lock. That's gonna
Dude,
be
like
played for sure.
you said the release date earlier, and I really thought it was
Yeah, you,
in my mind. I was like, I don't know if I thought April 6th or like just somewhere in my mind. I was like, oh, end of March is when that game comes out. I got time. And you
nope.
said that, and I was like, oh, I have a week. All right, so yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
you're
be
ready.
what to find some time for sure. But dang, it's close. It's close.
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be so sick.
Yeah,
So sick.
yeah, it will be good.
Yeah, but anyways, dude, do you want to get into the start of the first week's article with Warner Bros. Basically
Shit, man.
imploding? It seems
Yeah,
a big
probably
shakeup. It seems.
probably not a surprise to most, to be honest.
Not really. No,
With
for those paying
Monolith.
attention, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're paying attention, definitely not a surprise. But anyways, this comes from Polygon. Michael McWhorter. It's not Werther. There's no H. McWhorter.
Worder.
Wort.
Worder. Wart. 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 Wart.
Michael over at Polygon. He says Warner Bros. Closes Monolith Productions and MultiVersus studio, cancels Wonder Woman game. Who remembered that there was a Wonder Woman game in the works? Anybody? I faintly remembered, but it's like I haven't heard about anything about it in a while. So, regardless,
Well, hold on, real quick. Was Harry Potter Warner Brothers?
sure was. It's their only good IP. Let's be honest. At least
No,
that
dude.
only,
Actually,
like only good at one current, like because obviously they're the Batman games, right?
yeah. So you got Batman, Fear, Injustice, Lego, Middle Earth, Mortal Kombat, Scribble Knots. So, okay, there's a few here. We got to figure out what's going on though.
Let's figure it out, dude. Warner Brothers Games is making big cuts, closing 3 studios. Monolith Productions Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego, canceling the long in development Wonder Woman game. Publisher told employees on Tuesday. All projects from these studios will be canceled. Monolith Productions developed Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor and its sequel Shadow of War, and was working on a Wonder Woman game. Player First Games was the developer behind the recently scrapped fighting game MultiVersus that came back, and then now it's it's unfortunate. Warner Bros. Games San Diego studio was working on what it once described as an exciting new AAA free-to-play cross-platform game. Not anymore, dude. Not anymore.
Not anymore at all.
Employees at Warner Brothers Game Studios were informed of the closures and game cancellations in the communication from executive JB Parrott, CEO and president of global streaming and games for Warner Brothers Discovery. In an email to employees obtained by Polygon, Reed cited a disappointing 2024 for the company's games division, saying it would focus on 4 franchises going forward: Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, DC, primarily Batman when it comes to single-player-led games, but may include select other opportunities as the new DCU gets built, and Game of Thrones. Sure, there's your big hitters. Regarding the now scrapped Wonder Woman, which was announced in 2021, Parrott said the game no longer fell within our strategic priorities. Parrott said the company is looking to repurpose our talent where possible, but reassigning employees to open roles. In addition to focusing on fewer but bigger franchises, Parrott said Warner Bros. Games aims to return to growing its mobile games revenue as well as regain our credibility and swagger at producing great games. Parrott said of recent releases from Warner Bros. Games, the product market fit and quality of too many of our new releases has really missed the mark. We need to and will do better for our fans first and foremost, and also begin regaining that credibility is critical to us securing even more investment in games in the years to come, Parrott wrote. Getting our swagger back happens one high-quality game release at a time, and our financial credibility gets rebuilt one fiscal quarter at a time, delivering what we said we would deliver, and no big negative surprises. Over the past year plus, Warner Brothers Games has delivered a string of misses, including Rocksteady Studios' Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, a relaunched MultiVersus, and Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. In January, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment president David Haddad announced his exit from the role after more than a decade leading Warner Brothers Game Division. Reach for comment, a spokesperson of Warner Brothers Games provided Polygon with the following statement, saying, we have had to make some very difficult decisions to secure our structure, decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios, Monolith, Players First, Warner Bros. Games, San Diego. Strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. Development of Monolith's Wonder Woman video game will not move forward. Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities. This is another tough decision as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. We greatly admire the passion of the 3 teams and thank every employee for their contributions. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high-quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back to profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond. It's great, right? You know, you hear all the speak about nothing to do with the teams. We appreciate their work, but not making money, so goodbye. Thanks.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty, to be honest. I guess they just need to make another Game of Thrones game somehow. It's weird about Warner Brothers because I feel like their timing is usually wrong. It's like they're not capitalizing when they should. Like the height of Harry Potter, they didn't really capitalize as much on their video games. I always notice it's always been kind of a trend for as long as I can remember. When games came out that were named after movies, it was usually just the movie in a game, and it was brought no new experience.
Yep.
They need to shake that off.
That's what they did with Hogwarts Legacy.
Shadow
Mike.
of Mordor was So what?
So what they did with Hogwarts Legacy,
Hogwarts.
Mike. They didn't follow the movies.
Yeah.
They came up with a
Well,
separate kind of story that worked.
it has to be original, I think. Is Hogwarts
I agree.
Legacy actually? Yeah, it is Warner Brothers. I just wanted to make sure. So
Yeah.
it's like they have some hits here and there, but Hogwarts Legacy came out in 2023.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's a 2-year-old
It feels
game.
like
It's a 2-year-old
7 years
game.
ago,
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not that far, and that was pretty successful. And you have Shadow of Mordor was pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
those Middle Earth games were pretty good. They got a lot of positivity. So
yeah, I don't know, man. The Batman games are usually good. Maybe they should make something that's like solely devoted to the Joker. But I think because you're dealing with something that is such a legacy IP, you can't be as flexible as you could be if it was a brand new like topic or story or something like that.
yeah,
You know, it's like because if you start stepping on the wrong toes in the DC universe, I mean the fanboys are gonna cut your head off. It'll be really bad. And sometimes Mortal Kombat fanboys are the same way. It's like there's a lore they're trying to make. Um, I don't know. I really don't.
yeah,
Where
dude,
do they go
it's
from here? Is the question.
I don't know. I mean, I would certainly, if I'm them, I'm definitely leaning into Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, I'd make a second game. Lean into
Agreed.
that,
Yeah,
try to continue on that
at a
story.
minimum.
I mean, you try like they tried the Quidditch stuff, but it's like the Quidditch game unfortunately just didn't really do much. So it was like, it would have been cool to see
No.
that do well. But then again, like I guess when you really think about Quidditch, it's like, okay, like how much, like how dynamic is it? How interesting is it to actually play and or watch? Like, there's not a whole
True.
lot going
Yeah.
on. I mean, I think the like one of the jokes I think was always like, it's like they wrote a sport in a story that is not written by people that understood sports. So it's kind of never was meant to be like
Yeah.
really over the top or crazy or good. It's kind of just like it was what fit Harry Potter. So it's like you try to translate
That's a
that
good
to a game, it
point.
just doesn't translate well. It's and I mean, I think we said whenever it was announced, I was like, I really want, like, I would love for a game like that to do well and actually, like, be competitive. But then, yeah, I mean, just it didn't really do that. And then when you really think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, it'd be kind of hard to make Quidditch like super interesting. So, it's kind of
Yeah. It's weird because I think Warner Brothers is so good. Like their strengths are storytelling, and maybe they should just lean into that.
yeah.
Just be a true entertaining storytelling. Like all the games that seem to be failing right now are multiplayer based games.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So
I mean we're finally starting to see the death of live service, like after so long, because majority of them just can't
yeah,
work and won't work. A lot of
well, it's
studios are just,
oversaturated in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, at this point, definitely. So yeah, I mean, we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the pendulum kind of swing back. Hopefully, to let's just like make some single player stuff or some like not open world live service like
You know
nothing.
what's
So
probably the catalyst of that is Elden Ring, I think,
yeah,
because
yeah,
like, I think peak live service was launching Star Wars Battlefront 1 or 2 without a story, like no story whatsoever.
yeah.
And
Sure.
when they did that, that was like top of the line live service game. It's like, oh, pay full price. This is obviously EA that did this, not Warner Brothers. I don't want to get them a bad rap, but it's like you buy a full service game, full price, plus you had to get like a battle pass, season pass, and then plus extra microtransactions. And they took everything to a whole new level. I think Fortnite probably brought it back into a realm of where it made sense for most people to play,
But I think,
but
I
I don't know.
mean, I don't know. To me, peak live service. I mean, that certainly. I feel like Star Wars where live service started. For me, peak live service
Yeah.
was Fortnite. The one to do it right was Fortnite. And I think it kind of
I guess I'm
just
getting my timelines. Yeah, you're
everyone's just
probably
like
right. Yeah.
everyone was chasing Fortnite after that, right? Because like 2018, that was peak live service Fortnite, and that was like peak update every week, something new every week. It was always
That's
fresh
true. And events,
skins,
and they
like
made.
events,
I
So
think, yeah, actually, that's a good point because Fortnite's success was so good that it actually switched up how Overwatch did their live service.
sure, yeah. I mean,
Um,
Overwatch was another
yeah,
one.
Overwatch was really popular at the time as well, uh, at least on PC. And I think the cool thing that Fortnite did was they had season passes based upon the seasons of the year, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for the people that were living in the southern hemisphere because it was inverse, but
Yeah,
the Aussies are used to that having Christmas. Imagine having Christmas on the beach, dude.
yeah,
That's what
it's
they're dealing
crazy.
with.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, it's wild, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. Wonder Woman games. Unfortunately, we don't see it. Um, could have been a nice single player title, but yeah, man, it's
It could have
like
been. Yeah,
seeing see stuff like that get canned, and yeah, MultiVersus finally just kicking the bucket. They tried to bring it back. They tried. I think it just
they
didn't work.
did.
Um, yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Yeah, I mean, I hope they capitalize on Harry Potter and kind of that IP and go that route. Um, and do so like I want them to do something with DC for sure, whether that's like Batman or something like that. But it's like they killed the Justice League, which is such a flop, and it's just like they can't afford to like spend that much time on a game, especially the DC universe, and just have it be a total wash. So
Well, I think brand recognition matters more than anything nowadays because people start remembering when you really bottle it and like mess it up bad. You have to do crazy, crazy work to turn the public opinion around.
yeah,
A good example, like people are still ripping apart the Fallout guys. Fallout 76, I think,
yeah,
when it launched,
Bethesda. I mean,
completely
but yeah,
busted.
Bethesda still hasn't
Yeah,
recovered, and like at this rate, who
yeah,
knows? I mean,
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
it's just yeah,
You get completely ruined. Again, I said this so many times. If No Man's Sky can bring the games back, anybody can because that game launched all the empty promises, and now it has like one of the coolest games. And there's supposed to be a big launch either soon or this year alone, like for sure. Um, I didn't really get into that game because I don't play solo games like that anymore. I
yeah.
need more people to play with, but yeah. There was another game I was thinking of that they could really add on, but it slipped my mind.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I mean, Bethesda, they just had that flop. I think ever since then, it's been kind of bad. I enjoyed Starfield, played it, completed it. And then afterwards, started to once I started like actually seeing and realizing kind of some of the flaws of the game. It's like and how just like outdated their engine is that they use, and that engine is
Yeah.
like I really thought about it the other day. I'm like, dude, I'm worried for Elder Scrolls 6 just because they're deciding to use Creation Engine 2, at least from kind of what we're hearing. And that's like same engine to Starfield, and there's problems with that engine, like
Yeah.
clear, blatant, like fundamental issues. And so it's like you hear that, it's like, I mean, they would have to construct it in a specific way that would fit the engine the best. Because if they just get too crazy and open with it, it's just not the flaws of the engine will show quick. So I don't know. It's like reviewing that, it makes me worried for Elder Scrolls 6. Um, although I want that game to be good and I want Bethesda to come back so badly. I think there's just
Yeah, I know.
yeah. I mean, like I said,
Uh,
Starfield wasn't bad, but like it just especially I started playing other RPGs. It's like, dang, dude, just wanted it to be so much more.
no, no, you can't really mess up too many times in a row because at that point, that's just who you are.
It's just like, yeah, I
Like,
mean,
and
I don't know. That's at the point they're just like they're beholden to their technology and they just haven't updated it. So that's what's like they're turning into a meme at this point of like, oh, here's our like crusty engine that we're still using, and it's like meanwhile
yeah,
Unreal Engine 5's on everything and looks great. Yeah,
it's the truth.
so
All right, should we?
dude, we gotta talk. Look, I will say this next
Yes.
game, dude. This next game we're about to talk about. They showed that gameplay. I'll show the video to the people watching.
Yeah, you should show
Look,
the
look really
video on this.
good. Look really good. Give me hype.
It's not good that it's delayed, but so long as it's good when it comes out, that's gonna be good.
It's just like, oh, dude,
Um,
oh, dude, this
but
is a triple A
anyways, this should be a triple A title. It better be.
title.
Uh, let's get into it. So, what we're talking about here is IGN came out with an article, or Wesley and Poole via IGN came out with an article called "Fable Delayed to 2026." Microsoft reveals brand new pre-alpha gameplay, and then in quotes, "We do these things for the best of the games and the teams." So let's just jump right into it. Microsoft has delayed Fable from its 2025 release window to some point in 2026, while also providing a first look at brand new gameplay. Fable is the upcoming reboot of the Xbox franchise made famous by the now defunct Lionhead Studios. It's in the works at UK studio Playground, which is known for the much loved Forza Horizon series of driving games. Forza, awesome, awesome IP. If you haven't played it, go check it out. Last one was kind of launch buggy ish, but it's good now. Solid game. In the latest episode of the Xbox podcast, Craig Duncan, formerly Rare Studio head, who took over as head of Xbox Game Studio last fall, moved to reassure fans that this new Fable game is definitely worth the wait. Shout out for the tier list. Always love a good tier list.
It's cool.
Xbox and S tier with the Xbox Master Chief Collection. Come on, guys.
They got Halo in there.
Deserves
That's yeah, dude. They got Halo and Elder Scrolls S tier game series. I mean,
Oh, you're zoomed in, I think. Because if you zoom out,
oh,
you
is there
can see
more?
Doom is also there. Yeah, Doom. Yeah,
Oh,
there you
there
go.
we go. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Doom's in there as well.
Doom,
Doom
okay.
belongs in there more than the other two.
Oh,
in
there's
my
more.
opinion.
Oh wait, yeah, I can do this. There we go. That makes sense.
Oh, you can.
Can
What else is
expand.
in
Okay.
S tier? Oh,
You
Gears
got
of
Doom,
War makes
Gears of
sense,
War,
okay.
Forza. Okay, that's S
I
tier.
agree.
A tier's
Oh,
Fallout,
these are the
Fable,
Xbox
COD.
IPs.
Yeah, Fallout, Fable, COD, Diablo,
Huh.
Minecraft, and A. Age of Empires, Flight Simulator, Forza Motorsport, Hellblade, Psychonauts, Ori in the B tier. Ori in B tier. That's Mike's S tier right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're out of their mind. That's
State of
fighting
Decay.
words.
No, C tier, State of Decay, Crackdown, Project Gotham Racing. That's that's the most appropriate tier I've seen. Like,
Yeah,
you could even
it
throw
probably
some of
is.
those a D, but I love how D tier is
Yeah.
Fusion Frenzy and Viva Pinata. Forgot about Viva Pinata. It's funny.
I didn't know that Ori was only an Xbox game.
Yeah.
Kind
Yep.
of makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Sure is.
I never really thought about it because it's such a good game. Honestly, yeah, you said it's my game. That needs to be an A tier, in my opinion. I think the only reason
what I'm
why
saying.
Call of Duty isn't an S tier is because it's also on PlayStation. But
Yeah,
whatever.
true.
All right, finishing up. Well, we got a handful of more, like probably 2 pages worth, and then a video to show you guys for those watching. So Duncan went ahead and explained. I just want to start with really excited about the progress. Really excited about where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable for 2025. We are actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. Well, I know that's not maybe the news people want to hear. What I want to assure people of is that it's definitely worth the wait. I have unequivocal confidence in the Playground team. If you think about their history and legacy for Forza Horizon, the last few games, critically acclaimed, 92 Metacritic, award-winning, beautiful, play great. This guy has all the adjectives
Bam,
you could
bam,
possibly
bam.
need for Forza. And just what they're bringing to Fable as a franchise, just think of the visuals of what you expect of Playground games, plus amazing gameplay, British humor, Playground's version of Albion. That could be kind of cool. So inspired by what's gone before with the franchise, but their take in quite frankly the most beautifully realized version of Albion you've ever seen. So really excited about the plans and really excited about the future. I want the community to understand that we do these things for the best of the games and the teams, and ultimately that results in the best game for the community. That's pretty cool. How about you hit them with the 51-second pre-alpha gameplay?
Footage, bro. This footage.
For those of you that are only listening, it's
I
just
mean-
basically if you played Fable, it's Fable but it looks gorgeous.
I'm gonna be pausing frequently. Listen, this city shot is insane, dude.
It's so
This is
sick.
the actual game. This is how the game ships, dude. You're walking through a city with this much detail. Oh my lord.
Have you played Forza Horizon before?
I haven't. I mean, I've seen the clips and stuff about how graphically impressive that game is. So
It's insane. The level of detail in a racing game like that is pretty wild.
yeah. Combat. Okay, I mean the pairing looks fine. I was say the original combat looked kind of stiff, but
It does. It probably
the-
needs to be polished.
yeah. But again, pre-alpha, shouldn't judge too much. So, but I mean, yeah, dude. Like graphically, I mean, dude, the cinematics, the moving camera. I mean, it looks like I'm watching a movie. Kimby, you're fighting a werewolf.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
I love werewolves.
it's looking like a good solid 30 FPS. But hey, I mean, hey, if there's this much detail, I
That's
won't balk
true,
at that. I
yeah.
won't balk at it.
I think you might be onto something. The realism of like you love it how at the end you kick a chicken out of control.
Yeah, the good humor.
But it's just a stunningly beautiful game in the pre-alpha gameplay.
I mean, yeah, this
I'm
pre-alpha
really
stuff is
looking forward
promising.
to. Yeah, it's very promising. There could be a lot of great things coming out of this. And so long as they get a good story, I mean, if the graphics are the great thing. Once you figure that out, you're good to go. Just make a good game and make sure it feels good when you're playing it. Good game as in like good story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, graphics. Yeah,
Yeah.
graphics are for the most part. I think graphics are given, especially in AAA these days. So just
Yeah,
nail the
more
story.
now than ever. Yeah.
Just nail the story. I mean, the magic effects look cool too. They like she like shoots a fireball or something at some point. Seeing those effects is like just looks really good. Um, Kicking chickens. I mean, come on, dude. It's
Chicken kickin's pretty wild.
um,
Couple more paragraphs and then we'll close this out real quick and then get some more thoughts from you. Um, in the same breath as announcing the delay, Microsoft revealed 50 seconds of brand new pre alpha gameplay showing fabled combat, some city walking scenes, a clip of the main character riding a horse through a fantasy styled forest, and of course, kicking a chicken. The admittedly brief gameplay gives us a decent idea of what Playground is going for, as well as the visual fidelity is not a word, fidelity, Duncan mentioned on the podcast. We see combat with one-handed sword, a two-handed hammer, a two-handed sword, and what looks like a fireball magic attack, which is very standard for Fable. One cutscene shows a man lying some sausage inside a trap. It emerges this is to entice a werewolf-type creature, who the main character subsequently fights. Playground's revival of the fantasy role-playing game series was announced in 2020 as a new beginning. 2023's Xbox Game Showcase then gave us a better idea of what to expect, with a reveal courtesy of the IT crowd's Richard A. Ayoade? Ayoid?
I
Uh,
forgot how to say his last name, but yeah, and I know
Ayo?
exactly the guy.
Aido, Richard over at IT Crowds.
Ayoade.
Then last year, Microsoft showed its Fable reboot once more, this time with a new trailer during its Xbox Showcase event in June 2024. This reboot is the first mainline Fable game since 2010's Fable 3 and one of Xbox Game Studios' biggest upcoming titles, as it probably should be. We haven't had a Fable game in a very long time. They're very beloved. And quite honestly, anybody that ever played the original Fable games is well into their 30s. So
Yep.
to reboot the franchise is basically like a bunch of parents trying to pass on the Fable franchise to their kids. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It looks amazing though.
Yeah, dude. I
Dude,
just
that looks like Universal Studios or like
it
Disney.
does.
Like
It
that
does. Yeah.
screenshot is amazing.
I mean, yeah, dude. I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
city. Like this is my favorite shot of the whole thing. Just looking at the city. I'm curious to see how
Stunning.
detailed it's gonna be. Um, yeah, dude. Like I said, I mean, it's obviously this pre-alpha stuff. I mean, graphically, it looks promising. I think it's something I see this and I'm just like the fantasy kick that I've had just like gets me going, and I want to play. I want to play some of this. So, um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude, it's got me more and more hype for it. I think. Um, yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm expecting a nice fantasy universe story kind of. I don't know much of the Fable lore. I think I played like a little bit of two. And it was like so old. I was like, so what's going on? I'm like playing, trying to
Yeah,
control the controls a
yeah.
little weird. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very intrigued. I would like an updated Fable for sure. And that's I think what this is. So excited,
You know
man.
what speaking of old like games that are being revitalized, I want to see a revitalization of BioShock. I could definitely get into that. Maybe
Oh,
just like start off all the same or something like a remaster. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
I honestly don't know if they made a BioShock remaster.
I don't think I
Should probably
did.
look
They
into that.
should. They should.
I think it's
You know
worthwhile. I mean, it's beloved. It's one of those games that came out during the Fable era, during the original Halo era. Like, it's a
exactly.
yeah. I just hope I I hope it doesn't end up like how movies are now, where all the movies coming out are just remakes or they're sequels from like decades ago. It's like I kind of want to experience that with games because it's a much better experience. It's an
Yeah,
interactive experience. So the graphic
exactly. Yeah,
upgrade is like highly welcomed.
yeah,
If you could tell a new story with like a twist in the universe, it's like yeah, okay, we'll do that. That's cool. I'm into that. But don't make a one for one exactly. I don't want the entire like genre of video games or like the industry of video games to become remakes because like dude I can't handle that. Keep innovating.
yeah. I mean, dude, the Mafia remake, I really enjoyed that. I don't
Yeah, you did.
think I ever played the original first game. But the remake was just like because I think the original first game is so old. It's like you see the remake and it's like it pretty much is a new game at
Yeah.
that point because it's so different.
It exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean I like those kind of remakes for sure. I mean, Mafia 2 got a remaster, which so it was a nice a level of polish, but yeah, I mean, I think overall just like those style of remakes, like dude, I can't tell you how excited I am for the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes that are going on right now. I Remedy, I mean, that's something I'm very excited for. Because I love the
Yeah.
first two games. And so just being able to, I think, be able to experience that with a new coat of paint, but also probably, hopefully, some kind of like maybe some updates, just overall to like story beats and all that, and kind of what I think remaking games that are that old, there's like legitimate benefit in, as opposed to like remaking a game that's
Yeah,
like 5, 10 years old.
that's a good point.
So yeah,
What game was it? That was it Last of Us or something? There's a game I swear
yeah, yeah.
they made a remake of, and it was like the last game was 5 years old, like you said. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember.
Oh,
Was it Last of Us?
Last was part two. They did a remake
Yeah,
of it, and it's like
yeah,
this game just came out and it looked really good. It still looks really good.
yeah.
Like I don't know why we're remaking this in air quotes. It's like
Well, now
just
we're
yeah,
re-releasing movies from like 10 years ago. I think they're re-releasing.
yeah,
Well, they re-released Interstellar, which makes sense because that's a visual masterpiece. They did the same
dude.
thing with Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna do the same thing. I swear I saw it like literally today. It might have been Lord of the Rings, like
wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
re-releasing old. Yeah, and that
surprise me.
begs the question: it's like, how bad are movies now? Like, how uncreative are you? You can't tell a new story. You have to re-release movies from
Yeah,
20 years ago. It's
yeah.
like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna watch it. You put Gladiator in the movies, I'm there. But but the point I'm trying to make is like tell a new story and don't give me Gladiator 2 because that was nonsense. Um,
Yeah, man. It's. I mean, yeah. I think in the games medium, it's a little more acceptable, especially when the games are older.
yeah.
Yeah, but I just yeah. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of like remakes that hopefully do well and all that. I mean, like I mean another remake recently, the Resident Evil 4 remake. Like the old game is still very good. Don't get me wrong. I mean
Yeah.
the old game came out 20 years ago, so it's like when they
Yeah.
I guess it was 18 or 19 when the remake actually came out. Um, but I mean, but that was a game that was like they remade the game. I mean, sure, there's a lot of like similar aspects between the two, some slight changes, I guess. But like the whole graphical overhaul and kind of just like that game ended up being like a 10 out of 10 across the board for most people because they're like, oh yeah, it's a good foundational game and it got a new coat of paint and like updated mechanics and quality of life improvements and it's like that's what we want out of a remake. Like we like the
Yeah.
game like if the game's like 20 25 years old, it's the opportunity to like remake the game but make it in a modern setting, modern movement, modern this,
That's
modern that.
true.
Like
Yeah.
really make it so that people of today can experience the game and not feel like they're in handcuffs playing it because they're having to deal with old tank controls or something. So it's
Yeah, the old tech controls from back in the day were a pain, dude. A lot of these games were on the original Xbox or the Xbox 360, and if you go back and play that, at the time it was the best
yeah,
because that's all you
yeah,
had.
yeah, nothing to compare it to.
If dude, if you go from playing like a modern PlayStation or Xbox controller on your PC and then go back to that crap, holy crap, you got to be physically prepared, and I mean this literally because your hands have to adjust.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're cramping already on the modern controllers, you're shocked for the old ones.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with the frame rate of the game itself because you're if you're used to like 60 plus FPS, which is pretty much every game now, even mobile phones do that kind of crap. If you're over here used to higher than 60 FPS and going down to 30, sometimes 20, depending on the game, and
Yeah.
it's like, dude, it gives you a headache if you stare at it too long. You're gonna
Yeah.
have a hard time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean that's what we wanted to remake. I mean, yeah, the Last of Us stuff's funny too. I see all the memes now. It's like, oh, they're gonna release like so they released Last of Us Part Two. They got like a remake in like 23, and then a PC version in 25. And it's like, and they said like if Last of Us 3 comes out like in a couple years, like it's gonna be the game. 2 years later a remake, and then 2 years later a PC remake.
Yeah.
Like that's the timeline they're on right now. It's like within 5 years they're gonna get the different iterations, and that's your new game. So
Yeah. To be quite honest, I have no idea what PlayStation's doing right now. Like judging by their PS5 Pro and how it's like underperforming now, nobody's really buying it. Um, the crazy fiasco of like, oh, we made a great game, it's successful on PC. Oh yeah, now you have to have PSN username login. You have to pay for a service. It's
yeah,
like, what are you guys doing? Why don't you want people to play your game?
Why?
Meanwhile, Xbox is like, we're gonna put a Halo on PlayStation. We don't care.
Yeah.
Just play it.
They're like, it's going on everything. Have fun.
Yeah, screw it, man. Who cares?
Hey,
Fable,
man.
game day launch, PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah,
That's some
day and
Xbox
date,
energy.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't care.
that's it.
Whereas PlayStation is just like, I don't know what Sony's doing.
Oh, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. Dude, should we talk about Ubisoft messing up again?
Ubisoft? Ubisoft?
Ubisoft.
Yeah, let's talk about Ubisoft. Is it Ubi or Ubi? Dude, that's just gotta be a running gag on the
I've always said
pod.
Ubi, but I always hear Ubi, so it's probably wrong. But now it's like GIF and GIF. I'm just like, well, I'm pronouncing it wrong from now on, I guess.
Well, here's where I'm at. If it's Ub for like Dragon Ball, shout out. I'm wearing a Dragon Ball shirt.
Oh, shut up.
If it's Ub, it should have UBB. It should be two B's because that's a character in Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure it's It's Ub.
Ub.
But
Okay,
if it's UB, then it's more similar to Uni. But Uni is an abbreviate, or it's like it's a truncate. What's it called? It's not an abbreviation, is it? Uni is like short for university.
Like a, yeah.
I
Abbreviation,
took
yeah.
English. I took English 20 plus years ago. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
I was gonna say shorthand. That's not right. I don't know either.
Yeah, no, is it? Yeah.
Oh man,
I can't remember
It's
what
bad.
it is.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
there's ones that's like an abbreviation where you shorten it. I guess that's what uni is. But then
There's an acronym, but that's like a
acronym is
like
a
letters.
whole bunch of words that become a new word, like laser. Would be one.
Yeah.
NASCAR is a acronym as well. Yeah,
National
there's different ones.
Association of Sports
Sport
Cars.
car stock car American racing, maybe.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't
I should
watch
know.
the-
I'm in Charlotte. We got headquarters here.
I don't
and
watch
we like to see cars go
I don't watch the
fast.
permanent turn left and right.
The National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing,
Uh,
NASCAR.
like yeah, like the EPL. There's an acronym. English
Yeah, yeah.
Premier League. The English
No, that's an
Premier
abbreviation,
League.
isn't it?
Abbreviate. No, it's I thought
It's
acronym was like
Premier.
the. I don't know. I thought like NFL is an acronym for national. I don't know.
Verse abbreviation.
We gotta figure this out before we move on.
Oh yeah. All right. Initialism. That's the other one.
Initialism. Interesting.
Initialism is where they cut it short. That's what a uni is.
Okay. Yeah.
An abbreviation can also be included as an initialism. Yeah. So abbreviations are similar to initialism. Acronyms are words, I think. Dude, I don't know. Dog, let's just.
It's a video game
You know what'd be
podcast, not an
easier than
English
this?
podcast. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be easier if we just switched to Mandarin Chinese. Let's just learn something that matters.
Wait, I hear you out. I don't know what I just said. All right, dude. Oh, we're off the rails. We're off the rails, dude. I don't know.
All right, let's get back on track. Tell us what's going on about Ubisoft.
Ubisoft is responding to Assassin's Creed Shadows leak. This is a bad one too, Mike, because guess what?
It is.
If you go to the right location now, you can find yourself a
Yeah.
copy of the entire Assassin's Creed Shadows video game on a disc. You really went to the right place.
No, I'm just...
March 20th will be here soon, Copper says. So anyways, on February 24th, IGN reported that, well, Vicky Blake, by the way, is writing this article. IGN reported that Assassin's Creed Shadows had leaked online, with numerous people streaming the game a month ahead of its official release date, March 20th. Not good. Over the weekend, and as spotted by the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, the now deleted social media posts showed physical copies of the game being sold ahead of its street date, and multiple streams of the unreleased game popped up on platforms like Twitch. Developer and publisher Ubisoft has now responded to the leak, confirming on the Assassin's Creed subreddit that it was aware of the issue and implored players not to, quote, spoil the experience for others. We are aware players have accessed Assassin's Creed Shadows ahead of its official release. The development team is still working on patches to prepare the experience for launch, and any footage shared online does not represent the final quality of the game. Leaks are unfortunate and can diminish the excitement for players. Ubisoft added. We kindly ask you not to spoil the experience for others. Thank you to our community for already taking steps to protect everyone from spoilers. Stay in the shadows, avoid the spoilers, and keep an eye on our channel for official surprises in the coming weeks. March 20th will be here soon. The leaks will be another blow for Ubisoft and its leading Assassin's Creed series. The development team has already had to apologize for using a historical recreation group's flag without permission, and then again for inaccuracies in Assassin's Creed Shadows depictions of Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadows was initially scheduled to release in November, but Ubisoft bumped it back to February 14th, Valentine's Day, and then again to the current release date of March 20th. A struggling Ubisoft needs it to perform well following lackluster sales of other recent releases and an investor backlash. We sell it at 10 cent, Mike. That's what we doing. Selling 10
They're
cent.
selling to somebody because they're in deep trouble. They just keep hitting bombs after bombs after bombs, man. It's not good for them at all. I mean, we've been talking about the Ubisoft downfall for the better part of like 2 years now. It feels like
Yeah.
they just keep making the wrong decision, and this isn't necessarily their fault. I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like we talked about it before, the leaks are basically happening because physical copies got shipped for the release date that was originally posted on February 14th, but then they delayed everything after the fact of the disc being made. That's really bad to say the least. I mean, it only got pushed by like what 5 weeks, so it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, you're really having to deal with. I don't want to say they're bad actors. I guess they kind of are, but they're like clout farmers. And when you have an entire online experience where everybody's trying to become like world famous and like get all these massive viewers and viral videos, you're having to deal with leakers a lot of the time. And that can be, I don't know, it can kill an entire experience for a single player game because, like, you just, it, when the experience is already leaked, what's the point on playing it? Imagine if
Exactly.
Ubisoft was Nintendo, they'd be suing the ever living crap out of anybody that streamed it. In fact, they did do
Yeah.
that
Oh.
on multiple occasions.
Yep.
They're coming after anybody that was making video content of their games.
Yeah. They weren't having it. Yeah, dude. The game is just cursed at this point. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Who knows how the game's gonna perform? But it's like, I don't know, man. Just Ubisoft, man. Hey, catch a break. But dude,
They really can't.
I might get to a certain extent though. This is what you get for claiming you release quadruple A titles, aka Skull and Bones. So you Guillemot never living that down, buddy.
Comes back to Skull. It always comes back to Skull and Bones.
He's never living that down for me, dude. I'm sorry. It's so funny.
No, you're right. He shouldn't, and it's the truth of the matter because it's like they're. What else do you say? They're choked. They completely choked, and it's terrible to see.
Tim.
But we could see one of the biggest IPs, not IPs, publishers, just kind of implode before our eyes in the next year.
Really could. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know. The early kind of reviews too of people that did like preview builds. I didn't hear it was bad, but I didn't hear it was like knocking their socks off and like crazy good. So it's just like I feel like it's just gonna be kind of another sort of like average to good Assassin's Creed game. Not great, and then yeah, I don't know. It's like, dude, yeah, you have the Splinter Cell IP. That's all I'm saying. Leave it at that.
Dude, they have so many IPs. I'm tired of talking about it because it's like they have so many IPs, but they can't figure it out, and it's just crazy to me how nobody in that studio or any of those studios sits up and says like, hey, maybe we should do this, that, and the other, and we can make this one of the best games ever. Quite honestly, I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, I don't really care much about the inaccuracies of the depictions of Japan. I only care because the Assassin's Creed's publishers and the studio guys were saying how accurate they were to historical times. And when you do that, you set the expectation that you're going to be accurate. And when you keep releasing games that aren't very good, there are people that are going to come after you because they're mad about other games that they bought from you that weren't very good. So then they're going to start pointing out everything you do wrong. because they're just upset.
You
Like
put the
rightfully so, because
bar
they feel
up
like their
here for
money
no
was
reason, dude. Put the bar all the way up here.
just be like, hey,
Okay.
we're basing this on feudal Japan in these year ranges and do a year range of like 200 years.
Yeah.
And then like heavily inspired, and then you have a credit scene that's like all the families or like all of the areas that took um that you took for inspiration, including books or artwork.
I would
It's
bet
that simple.
$100 that when you start up the game or start the story, you're gonna get that disclaimer screen that says like this blah 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 is not historically accurate or whatever. This is based on fiction. Like that's what you're gonna see that. So I mean, not just because
Yeah.
of this, but I think in general you probably would have seen that because like most games nowadays, especially if there's any sort of like potential historical ties, they have to be like, all right, listen, this is like a fictional universe, but like there's some kind of
Heavily inspired
historical
by
stuff that
reality.
might, yeah, like exactly. It's like you
That's a good
get the
point.
disclaimer. So I mean, I guarantee it'll be in this game. Probably no, at
Okay.
no, probably I had no reason of like they had historical inaccuracies with members of Japan, but I just think in general most games do that, especially games that are like based on that have some historical like context and stuff. It's like it's fictional
Yeah,
characters, so
that's true. Well, Assassin's Creed Black Flag did that
yeah.
actually at the start of the game. I do remember that. It was like everything's based upon historical figures, not entirely accurate. If you're interested in this, like find appropriate like papers or books and research it yourself. So it's like you get to fight and play with Edward Teach or Thatch or whatever his last name was. I think it's
Edward
Teach.
Kenway. Is that
Um,
what his name was?
no, his name was Edward Kenway, but you get to play with Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think that was his name,
Dude,
Blackbeard.
all I know
Let
is
me double check. Real name Edward Teach. Yeah, I don't know why I said Thatch. Maybe I've been thinking Margaret Thatcher or something.
listen, dude.
but
Listen, Black Flag remake. Rumors looking good. That's gonna come out.
yeah,
So
yeah, facts.
it's like there's a
I'll
lot
buy
of
it.
rumors.
Screw it.
Yeah, dude. That's
Give
probably
me
what they're.
multiplayer. Get a Skull and Bones. Just take all the Skull and Bones part of it out, and then just make a multiplayer Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed.
Shadows. If Shadows don't work, hey, at least you got the remake. Assassin's Creed Black
Yeah.
Flag. There you go. Ubisoft, hang in there, buddy.
Jeez. Facts. I'm sure they're gonna be okay. All right. How about we jump on
We talk about who's
to?
not making this mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, we're talking kind of more about leaks and how Nintendo don't mess around. This one is coming from Tech Radar, Dashwood. We've covered a good handful of times. This came out this week. Title of the article is "Don't Put Too Much Faith into Retailers' Leaks," as ex-Nintendo employees say companies know nothing about the Switch 2 launch date or price. Sorry, Walmart
Got him.
is the subtitle. Yeah, it's a pretty short article here, just a handful of paragraphs. Let's get into it. So, leak-loving gamers, beware. It looks like we shouldn't be put much stock in any retailers when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2's potential price or release date. Speaking in a recent episode of the Kit and Crystal podcast, a former Nintendo sales lead discusses the many online listings for various retailers that appear to give us an idea of how much the Nintendo Switch 2 could cost. Um, when asked about how much retailers would know about the Nintendo Switch 2's price at the stage, he simply replied that they would know nothing, certainly not price, and almost certainly not any kind of launch date other than maybe a quarter. He went on to describe retailers like Walmart Canada as among the last people who are going to know anything about the price, and mentioned that while some companies can speculate or guess, they don't have that information. There's no way that even like Target in the US would know anything, he continued. Nobody is going to know anything until we all know the launch date. When we all know the launch date, that's probably when the retailers are going to launch to know the launch date, or maybe like a week or two in advance. Speculation about the price of the Nintendo Switch has been running rampant since it was first revealed. We are predicting that it will fall somewhere around $300, or sorry, $400, which is also equivalent to 350 euro or $700 Australian. And this would make it a little more expensive than Nintendo Switch OLED, which launched at 350, 310, and 540 respectively. And to account for the upgraded specs, but not a figure that we would feel would price out most of Nintendo as a casual audience. In an investor Q&A, Nintendo also confirmed that the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 will be in line with the affordable prices customers expect, which we expect means a price point in line with our prediction. Of course, this is pure speculation right now. We'll likely have to wait until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd for official confirmation. Which, honestly, I don't feel like that's anything we don't know. You know what's kind of funny? I don't know if you remember this. I do. Kmart, Nintendo. First of all, if you remember Kmart, they're kind of
Yep.
archaic now.
Yeah.
But Kmart, Walmart, Target. There was another retailer that was up in the north. But basically, what stores used to do is they would know that there's going to be a launch of the console um this year, and they used to get a rough estimate of what the price was, and they would let you do layaway early on that
That's
estimated price.
insane. That's
Yeah, they
insane.
don't allow that anymore. I'm pretty sure they got rid of that because of the what's it called? The Consumer Protection,
Protections Act.
whatever. Yeah. Uh because I think they had a couple of times where like it got delayed an extra year. So people were like, "Hey, where's the money?" You know what I mean? Because you don't
Yeah.
know. And I
Yeah.
do like how that basically the head of the former sales lead for Nintendo is basically like, "Listen, they don't know because we don't know yet." And I was like,
Yeah.
that is some elite attitude that I'm sure Nintendo has too. It's like they probably bottle everything up. Listen to what I say there. Bottle everything up similar to what Coke does with their ingredients and how nobody knows what's in the Coke stuff
Yeah.
except for like 3 people in the company.
Yeah.
I could see like 3 people are the only ones that know the estimated release date of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
Nobody knows until the official announcement.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
no Nintendo. Yeah, I think we're all gonna find out at the same time. Yeah, dude. It's so funny to think about like the layaway stuff. It reminded me when like GameStop, you could do pre-orders at the store at GameStop for games, and you could pre-order any
Dude.
amount. So you could like pre-order a game.
Yeah.
You could start a pre-order at like $5 just to reserve a
Oh
copy,
yeah.
and then like continue adding
Yeah.
to that. Which I was thinking about that now. It's like it's so funny. It's like nowadays like most people probably just buy games outright. You're not sitting there pre-ordering
Oh,
at
100%,
$5.
yeah.
You're pre-ordering the 60. So
It's so
or
true.
the 70.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's pre-buy essentially.
Yeah,
It's
just
like
funny.
it, it is interesting how the price of games has not changed in how long? Like 15 years. And just over the last 4.5, 5 years, inflation in the US alone has gone up like 20% over the course of that. And it's like, dude, they probably need to raise game prices, but like you don't need to though, you know? It's like you probably
Hey, man.
should, but I mean like you don't need to. I don't want to give you any ideas.
It's like give these corporations ideas. Although it economically
Yeah.
makes sense. We don't give them those ideas.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. So the prediction here at Tech Radar, and dude, to be quite honest, I think it's gonna be about like $450 to $500 for the Nintendo Switch 2, depending on the features, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
$400 seems optimistic. It sounds
Yeah.
very optimistic to me.
I don't know.
Just
Yeah,
to go in line with like expenses of everything else that we've had to deal with over the last like handful of years, plus the other handhelds that we've talked about on the show about like the Neo, the Lenovo Go, they're like all $400+. So what like the
Yeah.
Steam Deck? So it's
I don't know,
basically
dude.
$350 for a Nintendo Switch OLED, $50 more and you get a Switch 2. Like that'd be a deal. I'm into that, but
Yeah.
is it possible?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think for me my prediction's probably 500. Anything under that
That's
I'd be a
wrong.
little surprised. So I don't know.
I would be very happy though.
I mean, yeah, it's welcome.
Very happy.
Be a welcome surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Some points 500 for me. That's my prediction.
We'll have to see. We'll have to just wait and see.
See, man.
Um,
People won't find out until then.
no, not even a little bit. But hey, how about we switch up and we talk about March video game releases?
Sure did.
And are you already look, my man, my dog? So there's a
I
good
did.
handful of. Well, first of all, before we go any further, if you made this far, we absolutely appreciate you. And if you wanted to see any of the articles that we've already talked about, links are in the description below. But right now, we're going to talk about video game releases of March. Is the audio playing by chance on your end?
I
Because you don't
think
need to record it. I was just curious if I have to.
I have it
Let me
muted on
talk
my
over.
side, but
All
unless you
right,
want
sick.
them to hear it. And
Nah, we don't need them to hear it. They can look it up themselves. Plus, for people that are listening only audio, it might confuse them. But there are essentially, I think, um, about 5 games really worth talking about that are releasing in the month of March. And I'm gonna just go chronologically of like release date.
okay,
First and foremost is number one on this list. By the way, game ranks we've talked about plenty of times on the show. Um, and his basically is he does top 10 new games of March 2025. And just for like simplicity of shortening up our recording, we're gonna just talk about 5 that we really like. Number one for me is actually Split Fiction, and that's coming out on all platforms, all modern like first gen platforms, and it's March 6th. So, Kyle, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is basically similar to It Takes Two, and then is it A Way Out? What's the
a
prison
way
escape game?
out,
Yes. Okay.
out.
So it's essentially two people that are trying to become professional writers. One does sci-fi, the other one does fantasy, and they go to the publisher to get their stories printed. The publisher turns out to be like an evil corp and shrinks them down into some alternate universe where they end up splitting back and forth from sci-fi and fantasy. And you basically have all these different elements. If you've ever played It Takes Two, it seems very similar to that, where you can have multiple games, like game genres in one. Like you'll have a scroller style game, you'll have a puzzle style game, and every single world is different. And the overall story is very usually captivating. I mean, look at that. You look like you were on Dune right there.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
riding on a little snake or something. Uh this stuff is just really cool looking. It's pretty sick. That looks like Maze Runner
Just
there. I
Greg.
think it's a game for anybody. The graphics look gorgeous.
They just
The
get better
story
with
of the
each
past
release.
3 games, it's been amazing. So, could be pretty cool. Cool, definitely for me. I'm gonna be
Oh
playing.
man, I'm
I'll
so
let you know.
excited.
The other one we're talking about is Frag Punk. That's also coming out March 6th. I think that is number 6 on his list. And the reason why it's higher up on my list, in the top 5, is because it's just a shooter. It's a new genre, not a new genre. It's an existing genre with the twist.
Oh yeah.
So you get these cards that you get to upgrade and change the universe around, not the universe, the gameplay around for everybody. So like they briefly showed in the image where you had a card, you pull it out, you snap it in half, and all of a sudden everybody's head is like ginormous. And another person grabs a card, they snap it in half, and then only their teammates' heads are really small. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I like the idea and the concept. It could be pretty fun. I don't know if it's gonna be fun for a very long period of time, but it looks good for probably like a month. And if you have a good amount of friends to play with, it could be long, like fun for longer. Graphics look pretty fun, look kind of cartoony, and I don't know. Does this interest you at all, Kyle?
Yeah, I think it does. This piece I might check out with friends, hop on, see what it's about. New
Yeah,
shooter.
yeah, it can be fun. There's a little bit of comedy in here too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
different for sure.
graphics look sick. Yeah, it looks very very cool. Yeah, so that is coming out on all modern platforms, including PC. Not Nintendo Switch, but yeah, it's coming out the March 6th. I said. Briefly going to touch on. We don't have to actually show this one, but Assassin's Creed Shadows. We already talked about. It is March 20th. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. But the one that we should talk about, Kyle, is Atom Fall. So that's on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PS4. That's March 27th, 2025. Dude, this game, I don't know. What do you think about it? It seems more your speed,
Yeah.
probably than mine, but I can't help but think it's going to be captivating, and I can see a whole lot of people trying to play it. It reminds me a little bit of like Fallout in a way, plus Skyrim,
Yep.
plus
Plus Outer Worlds.
it's just
Plus
yeah. That's the other one I was looking for. Like Outer Worlds RPG role playing game, post apocalyptic. You don't really know what the heck's going on. I mean, there Far Cry elements right there. You're hiding in a bush. You have bows and arrows. I mean, it
yeah.
looks like it could
This
have everything
this
here.
definitely screams Outer Worlds vibes. And just from graphics.
Yeah.
But yeah. Seems different. Check it out.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Check it out.
One of the ones I wanted to add on to the list as well is the first Berserker Kazan. And honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff about this. We've only gotten really two. We got like a premiere teaser, and then we got this gameplay footage that's showing on the screen right now. It's going to be on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and March 27th is when it comes out. But I don't know what else to say. It looks like a Thrasher kind of game. Really insane looking. What do you call it? What's the type of genre that I'm trying to think of?
Souls like.
Yeah, Souls like is usually what they say. I could see this one being pretty cool. It could have a cool story behind it. Looks nice.
Yeah, Kombat looks good. Just like that.
Yeah. Was there anything on the list of 10 that he had
So you're telling me
I didn't already include?
You're telling me you're not excited about the hub and WWE, Mike. You're telling me not excited.
Dog. All right, first and foremost, yes, I'm kind of excited, but I didn't feel like it was worth talking about, only because there's only a handful of people that are really it's kind of a niche game, whereas WWE is not a niche product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like what's it called? WWE, like, is it 2K25 or is it the world where you can explore, create your own character? It's like a very social media platform.
Yeah, I forget what they called that, but yeah, it's in that.
It looked cool.
I don't know.
I'm not hating. I'm really not.
2 Point Museum. 2 Point Hospital and Campus, I have not played. It's one of those games, though, like, eventually, if I just want to, like, cozy up, play something kind of just quirky and management, like, that's the game to play. I do want to play Campus and Hospital at some point. I believe I have those games. I do 2 Point Museum. It's joining the universe, so another 2 point entry for those who like that quirky,
very cool
kind of time space management thing. So yeah, I definitely will check it out.
Looks very sick.
I want to check it out, dude. Look, man, that's about all I wanted to add. New Bleach game coming out. For one of your Bleach fans. And dude, play a little college baseball.
MLB the show.
The show.
Or is that the show or is that NCAA basketball?
I don't know. It's the show, but I see like college team logos. I don't know. The show 25. I don't know.
I only got into basketball or baseball again recently because of sports betting. Got D-Gen levels like last year.
Well, you're betting on spring training games? This guy's crazy.
Nah, that's spring training. Don't be ridiculous. No, it was just it got legalized. Gambling, sports betting, and I started betting on games and betting on hits, parlaying them together, have some fun. Made baseball go by pretty quick and kind of something to cheer on. It was fun.
No, got you.
Not anymore.
Got you. Well, yeah, dude. That's pretty much all I had. Yep.
All right, sick, dude. Well, I think that's all I got to add as well. Why don't we just go ahead and let the people go? Keep it kind of short-ish compared to what we've been doing in the past. But yeah, without further ado, for those of you that stayed this long, we appreciate you. We do have links in the description below for everything. We also have timestamps. We have social media links. We have contact info, whatever you want. That's really all I got to add. Kyle, do you want to give any 2 cents? You got anything to add before we let them go?
I don't think so, man. Got some upcoming games in March I'm looking forward to.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. I've been vibing. Chilling.
Nice. All right, well, let's let them go. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to M2 Podcast. I'm Mike Lanty. This is Kyle Heath. Love you. Catch you in the next one. And keep gaming. Yeah. Peace out.
Love you.